When trying to buy a PC build, whether you're a beginner or not, it's really easy to overspend in components that won't give you the performance that you want. For instance, you can get, let's say, $1,000 gaming PC for 1440p gaming, and then you end up playing at 1080p because 1440p is not possible with the PC that you build. And trust me when I say I've been there, it's really easy to overspend. That's why I'm going to explain to you how not to overspend on your gaming PC build and also on a Prebuilt PC at the end. So if you're looking for a Prebuilt PC instead, this video is going to be for you as well. By the end of the video, I promise you that when you get your gaming PC, you are going to get the performance that you're expecting. And you will have the link to my website in the video description in case you want the perfect PC build or Prebuilt PC for your budget and needs. With that being said, let's start. So in all honesty, you can overspend in basically every component of your gaming PC, but the main ones in my opinion are the CPU, the storage and the power supply. Now the GPU in some cases is as well a point where you can overspend a lot, and we are going to talk about that as well, but I think the three main components are the ones that I mentioned. Starting with the CPU, you can easily overspend your money by thinking that just because it's an i7 or an i9 is going to give you way more performance for gaming, and that is simply not true. The CPU for gaming has to be a CPU that won't bottleneck your GPU. There's a bottleneck calculator that I will leave in the video description. Now, bottleneck calculators are not the most accurate, but you will still have an idea to see if the CPU is going to bottleneck your GPU. So the Ryzen 5 5600 is basically the CPU that I will go for in any build under $1,200. Above that number, you can start playing a little bit and go with higher CPUs, mainly because there's a high chance you're going to have a way better GPU as well. But the 5600 should be enough even for 4K gaming in some cases. By overspending on your CPU, you can be losing a ton of money that you can put on your GPU to make the gaming performance better, which is the main component. And I will give you an example of this when I talk about some PC builds after talking about all the components. For the next component is the storage. For most people, 1TB of Gen 3 SSD is going to be enough, especially if you're trying to game. Trust me when I say that if you buy a 1TB of Gen 4 SSD for around $100, you are not going to get a better gaming experience. So a faster storage doesn't mean that you will get more FPS. And at the end of the day, you will be spending around $50 extra for nothing in return. And then the power supply. When buying a power supply, you just need to make sure that the wattage is right for your system and that it's a good quality one. That's why you have the PSU qualities list, you will have it in the video description as well, where you can check if the power supply is good quality or not. I wouldn't buy anything lower than C tier rated power supplies. But here I've seen multiple times where people need just 600 watts of wattage, and then they end up paying for an 850 watt power supply, A tier rated for $150, and you're spending around $80 to $90 more than you should, just because you think this is going to give you safety for your PC when it's really not going to give you that, since you can get a way cheaper power supply that is going to give you enough wattage and safety as well. To calculate your power supply wattage, there are a bunch of websites out there as well, and also on the PC Power Picker, if you're building your PC there, you can see the estimated wattage in the top right of the screen. I do recommend you multiplying this by 1.5, and then let's say you want a more upgradable path, then you can add 100 or 200 watts to that wattage that you see. So now let's go with an example. Here you have a gaming PC that will not deliver the performance that you want for the price. For $1,215, because I've overspent on the CPU, storage and power supply, I'm going to get just a 1080p gaming performance, when in reality for this price you can actually get a 4K one. Let me explain how. For the CPU, I picked the i5 13600K. Like I said, it's an overspend for this type of GPU that you will see now, and we should be prioritizing the GPU instead of the CPU for gaming. And I put the i5 13600K, but I've seen a bunch of people at these price points putting the i7 13700K or even worse the i9. Please do not make this mistake. Then for storage, I picked the Samsung 980 Pro 1TB of Gen 4 SSD. This is an ultra fast drive, but it's going for $100, and like I said before, you are overspending by around $50 extra bucks or so by buying this SSD. And then I overspent on the power supply for an 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply that is 150 bucks. Once again, great unit, 80 rated, however is unnecessary for this PC build. Now, like I said before, you can overspend in every single component like the case, but I feel like if you overspend on the case, aesthetics might be important for you. For that reason, I didn't put it on this video. The only thing that you have to worry about the case is the airflow, and I will talk about that on the Prebuilt PCs. After that, every component is great on this system and you're not overspending money, like the memory kit, motherboard, CPU cooler, case. The only thing that it's not great in my opinion is the graphics card, which is the RTX 3060, but some people really want Nvidia GPUs, so even though it's an overspend, some people really don't want to go with AMD for some reason, and it is what it is. Now let's imagine we don't overspend in those three main components, and we go with the Ryzen 5 5600, like I said, the right CPU cooler because this CPU doesn't need a ton of cooling, then the right motherboard for this CPU. We change the power supply to a 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply. This is CT rated, which is going to be enough for this type of build. And then we go with the Team Group MP3 1TB of Gen 3 SSD because, like I said, going with the other one is not going to give you any performance increase. Now, just by changing these three main components, the total price will be $850. Now, fair enough, I had to change the motherboard and the CPU cooler as well, because by going with more expensive motherboards and CPU coolers, it's not going to give you any extra performance, but it wasn't an overspend on the other PC build because it was needed for the i5 13600K. Trust me when I say the i5 13600K is not going to give you a ton of extra performance compared to the Ryzen 5 5600, where you can change the GPU and that is going to give you a much better performance increase on your PC. So for $850, you are getting basically really similar performance to a $1,200 gaming system, which is insane. And if you're not against buying AMD, you can get the RX 6700 XT instead of the RTX 3060, which is going to give you a 20% performance increase over the Nvidia GPU. So for $850, you're actually going to get a better gaming performance than the other PC for $1,200. It's actually insane, but like I said at the beginning, it's really easy to overspend in those type of components. So by not overspending, you can save around $400 or so and get better performance. Now let's say you want a PC for around $1,200, it's actually going to be a bit more expensive, $1,260, but I've kept the i5 13600K, because let's say you really want the CPU, then you don't overspend on your storage and your power supply, but you also have to spend 50 extra bucks for this system because you're getting a much better performance. So let's say you get the i5 13600K, you change the storage and the power supply to the Corsair RM 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply, which is 80 rated as well. Actually, I have this power supply. I have the same model of power supply on my PC build and it's a gray one. And then you put the RX 6800 on the GPU. So for $1,261, you can get around a 40% performance increase over the RTX 3060, and the 6800 it's even a 4K gaming GPU. Now I do recommend you buying it for 1440p higher FPS. Instead of playing at 1080p high settings, you are playing at 1440p high settings, really high FPS, a much better option than the RTX 3060, and because you didn't overspend in any other component except for the CPU, but even then only $50 of difference is going to give you a huge upgrade. So that was for PC builds. For Prebuilt PCs, it's easy to overspend on the CPU-GPU combo. And just like I keep mentioning, you only need a CPU that will not bottleneck your GPU. So when buying a Prebuilt PC, I recommend you searching on these bottleneck calculators to see if it's really worth the price or not. The other thing on Prebuilt PCs that you have to be careful about is the airflow of the case, especially on the higher end component PCs, because on the lower end, a case that won't give you plenty of airflow is actually going to be fine because the components are going to be low end, so no issues with temperatures there. But if you're spending around $1,500, make sure that at least you get a front mesh panel on your case. If you do, then most likely the airflow is going to be fine for that build. But if it doesn't come with a front mesh panel and the airflow doesn't look very promising, you can actually be hurting your components, even though the CPU and GPU might be right and the FPS that you will get are expected for what you wanted. Over time, your PC is going to have issues if your thermals are not right. But anyway, that is a Prebuilt PC issue, and the most important part on a Prebuilt PC is the CPU-GPU combo, because I've seen plenty of Prebuilt PCs for around $2,000 with the RTX 3060, which doesn't make any sense. If you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe, and most importantly, hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content. And if you have any questions about PC builds and Prebuilt PCs, let me know in the comment section and I will try to help you out as fast as possible. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.